How we doing, everybody? I just wanted to pick up where I think where a lot of the reviewers have left off now with She-Hulk. I've now gotten to see 4 episodes, and I just wanted to chat with it because of the fact that She-Hulk is one of my favorite characters, and has been for many years. I was collecting her for probably the last 20 years. Then, of course, she stopped with her comic run, and then got picked up by I guess another writer, female writer at that. Then decided that she wasn't going to be feminine anymore and made her look like the Hulk, and I stopped collecting that completely. Then they just started out with a new version of her with Jack of Hearts, and this is how stupid I am. I'm still collecting now, and it's basically a romance book. This is no longer a superhero book; it's a romance book. But I remember times when the whole Red Hulk saga, and she went up against Red Hulk, and she was part of the Fantastic Four. She was a huge part of the Marvel Universe, and it's unfortunate that they hired these writers to assassinate her character. I don't know how else to describe what the Marvel show on Disney Plus is like. If you haven't seen it, check out just one episode because they're only a half hour, and they claim to be comedic or a sitcom, and they're not. They're not. They are not funny in the least. It almost seems like they're trying very, very hard. But on top of that, they're also trying to create a feminist agenda with it, where they're saying, hey guys, this is not for you. Okay, this is for us. We know that the majority of the fans of She-Hulk are male, but this is not for you. So I know you were expecting, to like this and to be, if this was a favorite character of yours, just step off. It's no longer for you. And we're getting that loud and clear, and that's why you're seeing a lot of the reviews be negative because of the fact that we as fans were very excited. I mean, when the Lou Ferrigno show was on, we never thought that we'd get a She-Hulk show, ever. And now it's here, and we're basically been given the middle finger. Oh, you're a white male that's like 40 or 50? What are you doing here? Turn it off. Turn it off. Go somewhere else. And I'm keep watching it because I'm hoping. It's kind of like why I watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for 8 seasons. I kept waiting for it to get better, but it never did. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll get a different team in here. So we have Jessica Gao, who's running the show here. And of course, she's hiring all female writers. Okay, the females are in control of this show, period. Even though the best run, admittedly, in comics was John Byrne. So he was the pinnacle of, and it was a he, of writing the character of She-Hulk that they are trying to adapt. But they've changed her origin story. They've changed her personality. They've changed the world that she lives in. And on top of that, she has no interest in being a superhero. She has no intentions of using her powers for good. And that has been the baseline of this show. I don't want to be a superhero. I don't like my name. I just want to be normal. But she changes when it's in her self-interest. Okay, so let's talk about that. But let's talk about Jessica Gao first. And let's talk about comedy in general. So my first producing partner, because as you know, I'm a writer-producer. My first producing partner was the producer of That 70s Show and Third Rock. So I got a lot of insight from him about Kersey Warner and how they wanted their shows to go. And nobody can say anything about Kersey Warner not being successful. All right? So for that '70s show, I think they did Cosby. They did a lot of shows that were beloved, whether you like the actors or not. But the thing about comedies is, and let's look at talking Friends. We'll talk about Friends. We'll talk about Seinfeld. You pretty much name any comedy, and you have very fleshed out characters. And yes, some of those shows, were one shots, and then some of them extended out. Like a lot of the Friends storylines extended out through the entire season. Like The Break, and stuff like that. So you can't say, oh, well, those aren't continuing plot lines. But yes, they are. They are. A lot of times. Even Seinfeld had a few things that continued on into other seasons and things like that, where they picked it up. But especially Costanza with, getting these odd jobs and, being in the stadium. I think he was part of the Yankees or something to that effect. But yeah, these things were always continuing. So they always had, first of all, definitely fleshed out characters. So these characters had a past. A lot of times they had past with each other. They grew up with each other. They spent a lot of time together. They knew about each other's pasts. And in She-Hulk, there is none. There's no characters that have any kind of chemistry with one another because of the fact that they have some kind of a past. So no fleshed out characters. So there's rule 101. Even Jed doesn't really have a fleshed out character. Then, on top of that, you have, I want you to go back and look at Friends, okay? And you'll notice there's not only an A and a B story, but there's also a C story. And with Seinfeld, it's at least an A and a B. Cheers, what you could just keep going on. Whatever comedy you want to talk about, there's always an A and a B story, and most of the time a C story. Because if you notice how Friends works, they had each one of the friends would have a different pair each episode. So you'd have Phoebe and Joey and one thing, and then Chandler, and each one of them would pair off and do a story that then closed up most of the time by the end. And in here we don't have that, okay? And even our B story, our main character is in the B story. So there's no building of anything else of the world around her. It's just her. And on top of that, we're not getting to feel her at all. It's all, she breaks the fourth wall. And let me tell you, if there's a way to break the fourth wall, this is not it. At one point, she's driving, and she's talking to us, right? This is how they think that the fourth wall, if they should go back and look at Deadpool. Deadpool is a way to break the fourth wall. This is not it. So she takes her hands off the wheel to talk to us. And then in the next shot, of course, it's just very jarring how we're breaking the fourth wall here. Because she's not only talking about her own world, she's talking about our world. She's like, oh, here's Twitter armor for us because we have, our actor of the week in here. And it's just stupid. That's the majority of this show. It's just stupid. Okay? And you sit down and you're just like, I got to turn my brain off because I know I'm walking into stupid. And I can't understand how the actor and I'm going to talk about the actor in a second, but the actor and the writers are praising themselves for this. I would be embarrassed if I said, yes, my show is just stupid. I can't think out of the box. I make all these errors, and my show's just stupid. So if you want to watch it, great. Just make sure you're drunk, because that's, or stoned, because that's what you're going to get out of this thing. So, and maybe you might find something funny if you're drunk or stoned. Or unconscious, mentally unconscious. But that's the basis of the show. So let's talk about Jessica Gao, who is, again, not she was part of Rick and Morty as one thing, but she has had a variety of shows. But nothing that she's lasted over 6 episodes. I don't know if that was by choice or the choice of the network. But she's never lasted over 6 episodes of anything. This will be the first, and this is going to be 9. She's admitted to say in interviews that she does not know how to write a lawyer show. Okay? She doesn't know how to do anything courtroom based. And none of the writers, and the entire writer room, So they're writing a show called She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, and they admittedly, don't know how to write courtroom drama or courtroom comedy for that matter. So I have no idea how these people got their jobs. So I was working on the L Word, and there were the actors, not the actors, but the directors there. They were, of course, they were all gay or trans or whatever in the LGBT community, and they're minuscule as far as the amount of credits they have. But because of that basis in that community, they'll get opportunities that me as a straight white guy is never going to get. So that's basically what's happening here. I think is that they're giving these women that again, she has credits far better than mine, but she was unqualified for this particular role that she took. Then let's talk about the actress, okay, Tatiana Maslany, who was from Orphan Black. She played 10 different roles, okay? No one's going to say that she's a bad actress. Never going to happen. She's a great actress. However, she's a dramatic great actress, not a comedic one. That is a totally different animal, and any actor will tell you that, any director will tell you that, and any producer will tell you that. You can get the best dramatic actors in the world, you put them in a comedy, and they fail. And 9 times out of 10, the other direction. Lucille Ball tried to be a dramatic actress first before she went into comedy. Guess what? She was fired. Because they're just two different animals. So that's why Jennifer Aniston was praised for some of the dramatic stuff that she did, because she was able to make that leap, where most times that does not happen. And it's not different here. Maslany has no comedic timing whatsoever. Can that be learned? Maybe. I don't know, but she's not there yet. I'll tell you that. She comes off as cute, not funny. So we have all of these problems, and then we have the message that girls rule, boys rule, get the fuck out. So we have that going on. We have bad writing, stupid writing, and an actress that can't hold the role. So what do you think is going to happen? We have a failure. So, and I got to say that, everybody talks about the CGI. And yes, there's a lot of times that the CGI is bad. But I'll overlook that. If you have a good show where the CGI is bad, welcome to the 80s. Battlestar Galactica, all that, Greatest American Hero, all that stuff from the 80s, Wonder Woman, $6 Million Man. You can keep going on and on and on about how bad the effects are and were in the 80s. But those shows, they're beloved even now. This will not be, okay? Anybody can overlook the CGI and be like, all right, well, it's got bad CGI, but I like the characters. It's fun. I enjoy turning on the TV and watching these people. I'm inviting them into my house. But when you have all this other stuff going on, it's very easy to pick on the CGI because it's just one more thing. So, but I got to say this, with Maslany's face, they take her face and they alter it. How she looks as She-Hulk, her face, is exactly how as I imagined it from the comics. So I got to say that. It's the face looks good. But then they're putting her in these costumes that do not work. She's been in this pantsuit that's way too big even for She-Hulk. It just looks like a tent. And the one thing about She-Hulk is she's feminine. She likes being feminine, and she has no problem with it. And that's why she wears a leotard, and then she wears every time you ever see her in the courtroom, she's in a skirt or a dress or whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't go, goes, just above the knee or just on the knee. And that was her character. And now she's in pants. She's like in a man's baggy. She's wearing a man suit that doesn't fit her. So think about a man with basically a tent of a suit on, and that's what she looks like. But meanwhile, it's a feminist thing, a show, but it wouldn't look like a man. I don't know. That's how she looks. She comes off as androgynous. So anyway, let's talk about some of the show itself. So the first episode, of course, everybody bashes on because it's got that speech where she goes, "Oh, I have way more anger than you ever can have because you're a man. You don't know shit because you're a man." And if you look back at Hulk's, even just from the movies, without even going into the comics, how can you compare what he's been through? I mean, I don't know. There's plenty of reviews you can go look at where they pull that crap apart. So you have a female character that's just coming into these powers, which of course they changed the origin story completely because in the comics, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, saves Jennifer's life because she was shot during one of it was from her case, but she basically has ruffians after her, and she's shot, and Bruce is like, I'm the only one that can save her, but I'm basically giving her my blood, which is going to give her the Hulk abilities, because he has no idea that she's going to be able to control it. He thinks she's going to be like him, and he does it, knowing that what he's doing, she's probably going to hate him for. That's so much drama, right? What a great conflict. Of course, there's none of that, none of it. So we can't have a man saving a woman. It's not possible. So we have to have her drag him out of this car wreck that she basically caused by taking Steve Rogers and sexualizing him, which of course we can't do that for a woman, but with a man, we can sexualize him, as it's two different things. We can only go in one direction here. But meanwhile, from the rest of this show, she's got Captain America's ass as part of her phone. It's the lock screen on her phone for the whole season so far. I can't even imagine what was going through these women's minds when they were writing this. But anyway, so it's the first episode is horrific. It's bad for a lot of different reasons. And why I even came back after the first one. Maybe I was just hoping it was going to get better, like I did with the other show. But so then we have this really bad Titania, who doesn't look anything like Titania. She's a great actress from The Good Place. But, whoa, bad fight scene. Wow, okay. So that's how it ends. Nothing good. There was no setup that was good there. Then we go into the second episode, where she loses her job because she saved all the people during Titania's fight, which was in the courtroom. So she saved all these people, so therefore they were all on her side, so they call bias. So instead of getting a new jury, which anybody would know if they knew anything about courtroom drama, is that if the jury was, they would basically cause a mistrial, which they did, but they would also just get a new jury. So, of course, they couldn't have that because they needed to give her something. So her boss fires her because they don't want to have any more problem with She-Hulk. So she is now a celebrity because of all this, but I don't want a celebrity working for my firm because it's going to draw too much attention? What? Oh my God. How stupid. Again, we go to the stupid. It's just stupid. They took them all 2 seconds to figure this out in the writers' room without even thinking about it. They were probably all just drinking, you know, around the writers' table, going, "Yo, you know what we should do?" Oh my god. So anyway, so now she's looking for a job. She can't find one. So this whole thing is about her reaching the lowest of the low. And then she goes to see her family. None of her family even cares that she's turned into a superhero, or that she can turn green, or that she can lift them, with a finger. Nobody cares about that. They more care about the fact that they lost their job. That's the majority of what's going on. But the father is actually a decent character that cares about her daughter, or his daughter. So at least there's that. But other than that, there was nothing. I laughed at zero so far. We're 0 for 0 through 2 episodes. Until the post-credit scene. For some reason, I found this funny. Her dad has her doing odds and ends around the house. So they have her picking up these, 2-gallon water bottles, and she's carrying like 7 of them or something. Anyway, I thought that was funny. But it was a quick gag, nothing thing. But anyways, part of her new job as part of the superhero, portion of their law division, she has to be She-Hulk all the time. Okay. But later we find out that the writers are told numerous times to make her not She-Hulk so that they can save money on CGI. So the writers wrote themselves into a corner. The other problem is if you're going to make a She-Hulk show, knowing anything, Kevin Feige, about the fact that you have a character that never changes. She never changes. In this piece of crap, she's back and forth. But for the most part, the character never changes. Okay, she's always She-Hulk. Because she enjoys just being She-Hulk. She enjoys being different. And here, now they have to make her change because there's not enough budget for it. Alright, so now we go to Season 2, Episode 3. Okay? So this whole thing's about Emil Blonsky, which is the Abomination. Of course, we saw him in the Ten Rings, the Shang-Chi one, where he was fighting Wong for no reason whatsoever. But now they gave it a reason because that was part of his trial to be the Sorcerer Supreme. Okay. So, whatever. We'll give him that. So, meanwhile, he broke out of prison to do this because he didn't break out. Wong broke him out. And, I guess Wong didn't care one way or another. You're not my friend. I'll toss you back. Or you could just go and destroy the countryside because, I'm not even going to put you back. He came back by himself, supposedly. Okay. So, beyond that, now he has a harem. He's doing poetry. It's all, again, stupid. And Roth, rolls with the punches. This is stupid. I'm just going to play with it. So anyway, they have this B story that, Jen is involved with also, because we have to have the male dick. Because feminism. And so we have this attorney who's a district attorney who comes and says, hey, I need to hire you guys because I gave money to this woman who I thought was a celebrity that nobody knows. Every review I saw, Megan Thee Stallion, nobody's ever heard of this person. Nobody. And I guess the girl playing Titania knew her and brought her in. This is Disney. You couldn't bring in a freaking better celebrity? What's his name? Seth MacFarlane. Indy Orville brought in Charlize Theron and Liam Neeson into 2 episodes. Disney cannot bring in a bigger name than Megan Thee Stallion. Okay. So beyond that, maybe they have the budget. I don't know. This is Disney. I don't freaking know. More money than God. But, they can't do it. So, anyway. They, supposedly this new Asgardian elf turned into Megan Thee Stallion, and he fell for it, and he kept giving her money. So if she's that famous, why are you getting money from me? Then on top of that, one Google search was all I had to do to know that a district attorney does not make the amount of money that they said that he gave to this woman. He said that he gave her $175,000. The top a district attorney makes is $85,000. So he gave her 2 years of salary? What? What? Even without doing the Google search, I called bullshit when I was watching it. I had to look it up just to confirm it. It's a government employee, man. So anyway, so there's bullshit. So then on top of that, we have the whole thing with the abomination. Wong comes at the last minute to help. He scampers off. And all they're doing, basically, and they make a joke about it, about the fact that all we're doing is bringing in, cameos. But everybody, in fact, in the new episode, which I just watched today, Wong comes in, or she talks about Wong coming in to the audience, because again, she's breaking the fourth wall in a very stupid fashion. Instead of giving us insight about the character, no. They're giving us insight about how they're building the show so they don't get massacred by the reviewers. And it's not helping. It's not helping. So it's the cameo of the week, and of course she's even like, oh, everybody loves Wong, so we'll have Twitter armor for an episode. And they wrote this a year ago, or whatever it was, knowing that they were going to get blown up. I don't know, man. I knew it was a bad show to begin with. I don't freaking know. So anyway, I got to admit, there are parts of this episode that I liked. Okay? That's why I'm praying that they could, because there's some elements there. Now, if they just get a new team, get rid of Jessica Gao. She can't last in a show more than 6 episodes anyway. Get rid of her. Get a new showrunner in there. Get some men writers in there. I'm not saying all men. I'm saying let's split it up 50-50 so we can get some male point of view so we can make it a superhero show, which it's not right now. Okay? And it's not a law show either, so it's really a show about nothing, which there's only one show that can pull that off, and that's Seinfeld, and you can't tell me you're Seinfeld because you're not. So don't try. So here we are, we're doing the whole dating show thing. That's what this whole episode is about. It's about the dating show. Okay, so she's trying to get a date. She can't get one as Jennifer, even though there's a man that walks up to them and they treat him like crap. But they don't understand, as being a man, that the only way you meet women is by going up and trying to talk to them. And the guy wasn't rude. He wasn't a dick or anything like that. He was just, hey, you guys are beautiful women. I'd like to talk to you. They say, get the fuck out of here. He says, okay, bye. If you change your mind, I'll be at the bar. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, they're in a bar. She's obviously got a drinking problem because they're in a bar or a restaurant every time. In fact, she got hired at a bar. I don't know how her boss or a new boss knew that she had to go to, instead of calling her. Did you think about that? So just logically, I want to hire this person. So where am I going to go? I'm going to go to the local watering hole and offer her a job right there while she's drunk at a bar. Who the hell does that? The fact that you're drunk at a bar is another problem. So anyway, we have this storyline about, this magician, just a regular lounge magician, has a sling ring. And as soon as I saw this, I'm like, does everybody have a freaking sling ring? What's going on? And then they find out that, he's using these things and things, so he's creating portals, and he's accidentally portaling or on purpose portaling people through them. So he gets this very drunk girl named Madison that we're told several times how to spell her name because it's Synn at the end. So anyway, so she goes through, that apparently lives through a demon dimension, ends up in Wong's apartment. The chemistry between, even though they wrote, that's why they say there's no such things as small roles, even though that character was written like complete garbage, with no meat on the bone of anything. The character was drunk through the whole thing, even if he never sobered up. Never. And that actress took that role and she ran with that thing. I got to give that actress props because she took that thing and she made it her own. And where everybody's talking about the fact that Wong and her chemistry was absolutely great. And I got to give them props. Of all the things, see, we're talking about minor characters, instead of talking about Jen Walters because she's not there. She's not there. She's not the meat of the show, and they know it, which is why they're bringing in these other characters. And instead of bringing in characters and making a B story about the characters that are going to be continuing, they're just bringing cameos because Wong, Abomination. Well, here's the Marvel meat that we're going to give you. Okay, we're not giving you anything else, but we're going to give you a little thing just so you tune in every week. So that was good. I liked their relationship, even though it was a crappy character. But I did like her in every scene that she was in. Even though it was a one-tone thing, that's all she had to work with. So she was fun to watch. So again, we have very badly written stuff for the court, which is very easily solvable. We have really good court shows on right now. All right, we had The Good Wife, and we have The Good Fight. And there's some really good courtroom stuff. Hire somebody from there to help out. Put a person in there in the writer's room. Or put them up as a consultation or whatever. They'll be sure to be happy to make extra Disney money. But no. Jennifer Goward can't ask for help, apparently. Even from women. Because there's a lot of women that write those shows. So then she finally finds somebody that she likes and immediately takes them home because. So which, again, okay, I like the little bit of chemistry there. The expression on Maslany's face was good, even in the CGI side. And as soon as she tries to have sex with this guy, Wong shows up and says, "You need to help me." This is where it felt like a superhero show. You need to help me. I need your help because this thing's getting overrun by demons, blah, 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 and I can't do it by myself, even though I think he was capable of doing it by himself. I need help. Doesn't matter. The fact that he called her in, I'm all there. So she comes over and she's beating these things up and she's getting goo on her and she actually takes one and snaps it over to him. That I laughed at. I actually kind of like that. If I was probably a CGI guy thing rather than a directorial person, but suggestion. But anyway, so I liked all that, and then of course we go back and she continues to have sex with the guy even though she has goo in her hair. And when she wakes up, she's now Jen instead of remaining She-Hulk. And the guy says, who the hell are you? Now, if you're swiped right on a person She-Hulk, all you had to do was Google who is the real She-Hulk, which anybody in the world would have done. And Jen's face would have come up. Because even in the interview, she said her real name. Don't know. But anyway, he skips out and she's like, oh, it's really beefed up doctors are bad anyway, or cliche, or whatever the fuck. So he leaves, and that's pretty much the end of that episode. And then, of course, we have the post-credit scene. But on episode 3, I forgot to mention the fact that we ended up with the Wrecking Crew. And the Wrecking Crew looks like this. Or like this. Like this. And what we got was, I don't know. I waited for them to break out into YMCA. It was god awful. I don't know whose decisions these are, but it's bad. So anyway, I'm kind of hoping we can try to turn this into a superhero show. I don't think... See, there should be an A and a B story continuously. One should be the courtroom, and one should be the superhero side / her personal side. And that would make this show decent. And all the CGI aside, I don't care. We got bad CGI. Put her in suits that fit her. Put her in a skirt. I mean, you're already doing it. It's a fully CGI character anyway. There's no difference in showing her legs. And in fact, somebody brought up, and then she's never in heels. She's always been in heels. I don't know that's what makes her 8 foot tall. But somebody else brought up, why don't you just put a regular person, a bodybuilder, and then just like they did with the Hobbits, instead of doing it all CGI, you're deep faking her face, which they did with Luke. They can do it. So they deep faked the face, And then on top of that, you just enlarge her in the screen, which is going to solve a lot of your CGI problems instead of rendering everything. And because they did it with the Hobbits, right? Sean Astin is not 5 foot tall. So all you have to do is do an enlarging thing instead of trying to render skin and suits and folds and all these things. And there's probably some really good feminine bodybuilders that you can get that might be 6 foot. So all you have to do, or even close to 6 foot, so all you have to do is enlarge them an extra foot, and that's it. And just say, hey, look, your eye line to the other people is not here, it's here. That's all. I don't know. I don't understand some of this stuff that they have going on. But anyway, so She-Hulk, what do you think? Do you think it can get better? Do you think it's just going to... First, they're going to go into a second season. Just like they did Batwoman for 3 seasons. They're going to definitely do She-Hulk for 2. But I really hope that Jessica Gao leaves and they get a new team in there. But let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be launching some new Kickstarters. Lords of LA is going to be doing a second one. The artwork's being done right now. But my big one is going to be my new YA fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. I'm really excited about that. It's being edited right now, and the video is being done for the Kickstarter. So as soon as I have that done, I'm going to be launching. I'm getting new pins by Fansets made. It's going to be really exciting stuff. I think it's different than a lot of the stuff out there for fantasy, so I'm excited to see what everybody thinks. I'm thinking also about doing audiobooks for Audible. So let me know what you guys think about that if you could do that, because I'll launch that. I have somebody, a couple people to do the voiceovers for that now, the narrations. All right, thank you so much for all your support, and until next time, like, subscribe, and see you on the flip side.